Good morning. It's Sunday morning. Coming to you from my backyard so my kids don't hear me, but I learned a lot in this last year, and I'm not going to do too much in one video, but I do want to talk to you about 3 things I've learned this last year, and I hope to help you. A little over a year ago, I thought I was in love with this man that I had met by very peculiar happenstance. And he had sent me this picture that said, love cures everything in the world. It was on his mother's fridge. And he sent me this text message and said, I never really realized how much meaning this had, but since I've met you, I realized love can fix anything. And so when him and I met, it was under a very peculiar happenstance, and it was like light works, lightning, like everything you were expecting. We were attached at the hip from the moment we met. I had been separated from my husband probably almost a year at that point. We were attached at the hip. Like, it was eerie how well I got along. I'm like, oh my God, I met my soulmate, which also peculiar about it was not who I'd have expected it to have been. Both like looks, career, like everything about this person is not what I would have suspected. And so I thought, and you'll hear me say, I thought I was madly in love and found my soulmate. Well, that situation, and I don't want to give away too much too fast. I guess, I don't know. You'll see full circle. So that didn't work out. And one of my best friends said to me, Leanna, it really seems odd that you fell in love so fast. And I'm like, no, because I've made all these personal self-developments, and I've, been doing all these things. And I'm like, love is the answer. Love cures anything. And so when my son died, I was so brokenhearted, and I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of that because it'll turn me into a blubbering mess. But when my son died, I was like, it completely changes your outlook on how you see everything, how you do everything, and what you crave. And so, I knew that I was struggling to bond with my children in a normal way, because I think after you lose a child, it's kind of like after a breakup, you're hesitant to love again. Well, unfortunately, the same thing happens when you have real children, and it's a therapy and process you got to go through. But I was like, well, my heart's been broken once when I was a teenager. My heart was totally broken. And I was like, that's going to be what's happened. This was the catalyst for something good to happen to me. I am going to find my true love, and I'm going to be happier than I ever would otherwise had my son not died. And I thought proof of that was this intense connection I had with this individual. And then I realized it wasn't him, but I realized that was the key to happiness. So I spent the next few months trying to find my true love. I was like full into dating. I wasn't thinking about anything else. I got my spreadsheet going. I'm talking to all these guys, and I'm thinking, yeah, like, I'm going to find my true love, and then we are going to build this phenomenal dream together. And for some reason, I was in my head trying to probably replace what I had with Chris of like building an empire with someone. And I'm going to meet this guy, and we're going to ride off into the sunset, and we're just going to go fucking take over the world. And it's going to be everything I ever wanted, and it's all going to make sense. And I'm just going to be so in love. So here's the lessons I learned. 1, you cannot love someone into falling in love with you. I had thought while I was married, I was in love with this other gentleman for 17 years. And the first gentleman that I really fell hard for because I was trauma bonding kind of let me know that wasn't the case. This second gentleman I dated the last year really taught me that, no, I was never in love with this person I had thought I would in love with. But further taught me I've never been in love. Because I really believe when you are in love, it's reciprocated and someone loves you back. And so that was the problem with me trying to love someone enough to love me back, me trying to love someone into seeing my worth, me trying to love someone until they see how wonderful love is and reciprocate. But you can't force the wrong person to fall in love with you. And if someone's not, they're just not. If there's any question in your mind about how they feel for you, they're probably not the one. And that hurts because, especially when, me, I had wrapped all my ideas around falling in love, and that was going to be the cure-all for the world. And then I had to recognize, like, Now I'm back to square zero. I had hoped this knight in shining armor was going to come and say, hey, I'm here, and was going to give me a big hug, and we were going to hold hands, and we were going to have each other's backs for like forever. And, it's like, that's how I used to be with my husband. As long as I got you, we're good, right? Me and you against the world. And I realized, nope, that's not going to happen either. And the fact that no one's ever reciprocated your intense feelings tells me you haven't been in love yet. And it also tells me that I am in for quite a treat, because you only can experience joy to the extent that you can experience pain. You are only going to understand your ignorance as much as you can understand on the other side what you were missing after your ignorance is relieved. But everything has a yin and yang, an equal opposite. And unfortunately, I have suffered so much pain and so much trauma that, yes, it has led me to trauma bond with some people who weren't able to reciprocate my intense feelings. But it also is going to allow me to have one of the most intense, truest, authentic, intimate romances, like probably in history. I mean, of course, every crow thinks hers is the blackest, but yeah, because when I love with all I got. And if you love someone and they're not loving you back with all they got, I've learned you got to stop and then figure out that's not your person. Because when it's your person, it's just, well, I haven't found my person yet, but I know it's going to be reciprocated and it'll last forever. You won't have any questions about it. So anyway, I hope everyone's doing well. And I'm still hopeful that I'm going to find the love of my life, and it's going to put into perspective Jacob's death. And I'm going to live happy ever after. But for right now, I'm working on starting a few other things. And I'm hopefully going to be releasing soon some really cool ideas I've come up with. And I hope everyone's well. If you need help getting out of a domestic violence situation, please hit me up. I'd be happy to help anyone I can. And remember, you are worthy. You are loved. And just because someone doesn't love you back the way you want to be loved doesn't mean you're not worthy of love. It just means that they don't see your worth. A fish is never going to appreciate how well a monkey climbs a tree, even if that monkey is the best damn tree climber that ever were. Because a fish is only going to see a fish as beautiful. It's not going to see the monkey as beautiful. So if someone doesn't see your worth, maybe they were just built for a different type of person. And that's okay. Be you, because your type of person's coming along. And if you unfailingly refuse to compromise, I really believe you will be happier than you ever set out to be. Because all that pain, all that suffering is going to come together for a beauty like you can't imagine. Roja360@gmail.com. Take care, everybody. Bye.